Send a strong signal that if the president wants to continue his inaction in bringing the perpetrators to book, arresting them, prosecuting them, there's going to be bloodshed in Akwatia and future elections. We don't want bloodshed in future elections. Democracy cannot be traded for violence. We don't want a time where you go and put ballot box at a polling station and nobody will come out to vote. No one wants to come out and get killed by some political vigilantes. And that is what NDC is doing.
Abusia Rev Fordjour akọ kan asem bi emana no eyi ne ka na ono so kyeremu a onko gina ba bia enkan ne nso evidence ho sanso na eye nsem wei no ama eye KSM abetutu bi ede amane Rev Fordjour enumu ene wa send strong message ama NPP for na IGP wanya message sanso ena ne nsemu no ode the late Professor Mills ene Jerry John Rawlings eba sa nsem na okan mu anodom pre enso hu wom. Mesro se enene da edikan a wo hwen a obemodin wa subscribe channel ya my nefi follow your Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, NX edina Fred Studios mpacho mba bidim birthday to mon subscribe mama na mo fama as birthday gift. Abusia yensha enkomo na se. Ye nyina ebe kai a ablekuma rerun election ya e course no ye ni basabasa exi wo honom ene ade. Enumu na ye nansen eye finance minister ede media budget review ede ba parliament no ema eye micro minority for omo work out na if you omo fi parliament won sana omo de petition e call Flagstaff House and omo de call e come Yura Julius Debra ene eye Yura Kofi Adams na omo de petition no e call come eye Yura Julius Debra oye chief of staff no enumu na eye Reverend Fordjour e grant interview bia o kire mu a President in actions about what happened in Ablekuma North no eno anhwa at the bloodshed and a beba ewo eye Akwatia by election no.
Send a strong signal that if the president wants to continue his inaction in bringing the perpetrators to book, arresting them, prosecuting them, there's going to be bloodshed in Akwatia and future elections. We don't want bloodshed in future elections. Democracy cannot be traded for violence. We don't want a time where you go and put ballot box at a polling station and nobody will come out to vote. No one wants to come out and get killed by some political vigilantes. And that is what NDC is doing. It's a dangerous trend. It's a national security threat. It must be rooted out, and the president must show commitment. But so far, too, he has demonstrated he doesn't care. So people who care in this country will rise up, and that is why this signal is very important. You can read all the media budgets, but if you are killing the people and hurting the very people who voted you, who are very important actors in our democratic governance, it is sad. We don't want to derail the gains in our democracy.
It is being rumored that your party is preparing to go to Akwatia with a lot of macho men.
No, we are preparing to go and have free, fair election. We don't want bloodshed, and that is why action on the part of the police and the government in treating the excesses of Ablekuma North rerun is so important. Because if they don't arrest the people and they don't prosecute them, everybody will be emboldened to go to Akwatia and do anything at all they want to do.
The minister has given his word that the people who were engaged in the acts are going to be prosecuted. We hear yesterday that 2 people have been arrested.
Two people out of how many people? Over 100 hooligans, thugs who were government sponsored and despite to go and exert that kind of mayhem. You arrest two, and then we should clap for you. It's shameful. It's disappointing. And so they have benefited from democracy. But we don't want democracy to degenerate to a point where the president who will be declared president of Ghana will be the one who had the most macho men, will be the one who had the most violent people. The member of parliament who will be declared member of parliament will not be the one who had most stamps voting for him, but the one who had most violent people, killing people and bastardizing people, injuring people, should be the one. What we saw in 2024, NDC with violence, going to various coalition centers, putting guns to the head of electoral commissioners and declaring seats for themselves, as we have seen. 188 seats we saw, most of it, that's how they did it. We don't want that.
That's 50% of that.
Most of them, that's what they did. They just go there and then put a gun, put weapons to the head of electoral commissioners and expect them to make declarations in their favor.
And to way nsama Reverend Fordjour ekaye Nanso ohwa backlash a ekọ so internet no so no o se on kan baby a e no this video we e buy.
I never made a statement on bloodshed.
So I've seen
you are there. You all of you.
I even interviewed you. I remember that.
Yes. Did I threaten bloodshed?
No.
Did I incite violence? How are you doing? Did I incite violence?
No.
You were all there when you interviewed me. So people have just gone to distort the video. All of you know I'm for peace.
Yes.
And I'm for peaceful elections. I've always advocated for peace. Peace is all we need. And so we don't want any violence associated with any election now and in the future, so that we can consolidate the gains we've made in our democracy. So they can twist my words, they can spin all the propaganda, but all of you know, and you're my witnesses, you interviewed me, and you know that I was preaching peace, and I was calling for action to be taken, so that if anyone is planning evil in the subsequent elections, they will know that when you do this, you're going to be arrested and you'll be prosecuted, and everybody will stay home peacefully. So let us all go to Akwatia in peace and go and have very peaceful elections and come back. Democracy is all about peace. So they can distort the facts, but truth stands. And you are my witness.
Yeah. And that was a flip.
Abusamu na mote video no de yakọ so no Reverend Rev Fordjour kire mu say president no eye nyaatwom na nkrofo a omudi sa nyambransa ma Ablekuma North wanfa omo amba me face emra no dia there will be bloodshed in Akwatia. Nanso mo hwe second video yi Reverend Fordjour kire mu a onka na baby ada na de emengwanwa eye nipa no interview no this was the same person and no interview no first video no I even Musa Muti or no cry him say I interviewed you but Ubisan say what is I said no. Why? Is it because he's an MP so you cannot tell the truth to his face or what? I would say yanko eno NCO and a Reverend Fordjour this press release way and now immediate release way at the buy. Where immediate release I hear when about Fordjour at the buy. Na mo hwe letter no so Office of the Member of Parliament, Ascent South Constituency, Ranking Member, Defense and Interior Committee, Honorable Reverend John Fordjour, 29th July, that was yesterday, 2025. For immediate release, some malicious publications in circulation on social media have come to my attention, purportedly attributing to me threat of bloodshed in the upcoming Akwatia by-election. I wish to state unequivocally that such headlines, captions, and statements are false. Abusia me de bepe me ame nkan to aso. Se mo hwe ase ho a e ono akasa ne din na osan ye e wo ho. Reverend Fordjour chiremu a onkan ba bia whereby a video a show ye no motise ono akasa e na e ka. Nti we ensem a Reverend Fordjour edebeto amonten so eno mu na KSM atutu bia mane Reverend Fordjour chiremu a we should take mental health serious in our country. Ni nyina mu ohwemu a Reverend Fordjour I say nema mu nda ho fine na KSM nensem no say eno start no ana ode ko wie eye IGP yohunu so
ultimate charlatan. Do you know what a charlatan is? Wait, I mean, check your dictionaries and find out what a charlatan is. I want to start with the ultimate charlatan. I think his name is Reverend Fordjour. Reverend Fordjour, shame on you. Reverend Fordjour, I'm looking at you eyeball to eyeball, and let me say, you don't deserve the title Reverend. Shame on you. Reverend. Patrimi Ketri Kakra, Wakasa, Ayode, said there will be bloodshed in Akwatia. Oh, I'm sure you'll be at Akwatia with your wife and your children. I'm sure you have a wife, and I'm sure you have children. Would you're going to rally all of them and take them to Akwatia and let them join whatever gangs that you plan to send to Akwatia and tell your wife and children essentially, we are going to have bloodshed today. A reverend opens his damn mouth and talks about we are going to have bloodshed in Akwatia. If the president doesn't do something that you are authorizing, there will be bloodshed in Akwatia. Reverend, what is the Fordjour? We are serious. Are you serious? No. If you're serious, then I want you to have a press conference and renounce that reverend title you have on you. Renounce it. Throw it away. All you pastors out there who are calling yourselves reverends and whatever titles you're giving yourself and standing in the forefront of Ghanaians telling us nonsense, trust me, I'll come after you. Not with bloodshed, with Nyansa. With Nyansa, I'll come after you to prove to you that you are worthless people. You're calling for bloodshed? And then Sunday you go and stand on the pulpit and say what? Our Father who art in heaven, let us, and you actually give the grace, may the grace of the Lord be with us, and things like that. One of the issues that the whole nation we should start paying attention to is our mental health. Because honestly, Rev Fordjour, what mental problem? You are making the NPP become a party of rascals. Rev Fordjour, you are disgracing your party. Charlie, NPP, why? You are disgracing your party. Look, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I said, growing up, NPP was such an attractive party. Okay, so yeah, NPP, it was such an attractive thing. Everybody wanted to be NPP because from the days of independence, the NPP had packaged itself as the party of the intelligentsia. We are the wise ones. We know great things. So there was a time in the history of Ghana that the NPP was a very attractive party. But gradually, those of you who are older and in the NPP who are in positions of thinking and leadership, you will know that there's been a shift from the NPP being the party of intelligentsia, the party of gentlemen, the party of lawyers, to the NPP being a party of rascals. I'm sorry. A party of people who are emotional. They just, somebody can stand up and say, if you go see somebody fighting, say, oh, yeah, NPP ni mapa. If you're a proper NPP and you go and see somebody fighting and you see that it's a fight between NDC and NPP, no, NDC ni
So we are NPP ni mapa. Now we go to say NPP for, and now say NPP ni any NDC ni ekwa. We are NPP ni no na yambu NDC ni.
These are the statements that have turned your party into trash. I'm serious. The NPP was a very attractive party. I remember back in the day, you put in hey, unim Darocha, near Bonim Victor Wusu, near Boti Windim Huan Anto. Names, respected names. And that is what NPP was priding itself in. But slowly, as I was growing, I am witnessing that slowly the NDC is becoming more and more attractive. Meanwhile, at the time that the NPP was attractive, the NDC had no standing. Let me tell you why. And let me catch you more. Look, the NDC came out of the roots of a revolution. J.J. Rawlings started this revolution in 1979, and it was what it was called the African Armed Forces Revolutionary Council. So they came in as revolutionary, It was during that time that there was something in Ghana. For those of you who are in Akwatia, you don't know, but those of us in my age and slightly young, know. There was a period in Ghana called Let the Blood Flow. Let the blood flow. That was a period in Ghana that 3 former heads of states were executed at the firing range. Teshi firing range. They were tied to stakes. They were tied to stakes in Ghana here, and they were saying, fire! Shot. They killed 3 former heads of states in Ghana because we were like, we are in the revolution. Let the blood flow. If when we kill people, we are going to stamp out corruption. When we kill, so that was an era. Very, very, very hard era that we went through because of circumstances. I don't want to talk about that now. But I'm just saying that was the roots of the NDC. Because the man who led the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, Flight Lam J.J. Rawlings, he was the one that eventually came back into power after handing over, and then he started with the PNDC, the Provisional National Defense Council. Also, Soja Sam Niema. Now listen to this, folks. the PNDC with this revolutionary giddy line, gradually transformed into what is now called the NDC. People were alive said they just dropped the P. There was a PNDC, and you drop P, and the NDC. So, folks, the NDC had its roots in the resurrection of Jerry Rawlings. Then Jerry Rawlings handed over, came back again with the PNDC, and then the PNDC was transformed to the NDC. Provisional National Defense Council became the National Democratic Congress. So people still at that point remembered, say, NDC crime roots here, violent roots. And that is why the NDC was so unattractive. Then, even people who were NDC fellows who go and vote for NDC crime, in public they don't say that. And I mean, I'm NDC. After voting for NDC, that is how unattractive the NDC was at some point in the history of Ghana. Those who know. You can talk to those who know that the NDC at some point was the most unattractive party in Ghana because they were known as hooligans. Or NDC for the hooligans. I remember there was one time, was it the youth wing of the NDC or some part of the NDC near from Veranda Boys? Nkrumah started with Veranda Boys back in the day, and these were like they were not the like the educated people. I think you can call them foot soldiers then, So I think there was a whole period of time when the youth and the NDC and the foot soldiers, they formed themselves into a group called the Veranda Boys. Follow me. I'm just telling you why the NDC was such an unattractive party. So many violent, Veranda Boys, and all of these things. And it dawned on the NDC, Charlie, if we don't change our image, it's likely that we will be missing out because we are not attracting the intelligent people. We are not attracting the lawyers. We are not attracting the professionals. We are not attracting the doctors. We are attracting the riffraff. Yeah. And so it was part of the reason why the leadership of the NDC invited Professor Atta Mills to become a vice president for J.J. Rawlings, just to calm the radical element. Yes, let's bring this professor. Nobody knew him. It wasn't like he was active in politics, and it wasn't like he was a visible person. It wasn't like anybody knew Atta Mills. So all of a sudden, NDC said, we have a new vice president for J.J. Rawlings. He's a professor. He was an income tax man. And then they brought this gentleman, Professor Atta Mills, on. And that started changing the face of the giddy. It was like, it was calming that whole face down. And it took a while. Eventually, Atta Mills came into power, and what did we know him for? Asumdwe. Imagine, coming from the same tradition that had killed heads of states, the same tradition that had mounted stakes, firing squad. He came and said, I want you to follow me and understand that the history is very, very interesting. So the once party that was known to be violent and giddy, now had a leader who says, I am the father of all. Can you imagine? I am the father of all. And even people who are radical, even still criticize, say, they're also your father of all. Let me tell you one thing that people probably don't know. Eventually, when Atta Mills became the president of Ghana, one of the things that Jerry Rawlings didn't enjoy too much about Atta Mills was Atta Mills is not persecuting or prosecuting NPP officials or my bonnet. So for that reason, Krana FN is saying Rawlings wasn't too much fun of him. He can't say MEP, but he just thought he was just too much of a cool dude. So follow me on. But believe it or not, that was the time that NDC also started getting attractive to others. Because the image was not an image of a violent person and a leader, was a professor or income tax person. Cool. And then guess what? Atamils also found him a vice president, who is now the president, John Dramani Mahama. Also, another cool dude then. So believe it or not, this was the time that changes started happening in the structure of politics. You know, that now the NDC is competing with the NPP in terms of calm people who are in the leadership and things like that. And eventually it started going on between the NDC and the NPP. But gradually the shifts were getting so amazing that the NDC somehow, apart from maybe the radical extremist full soldiers, you know, the top leadership, they were more adapting a more calm demeanor. And at the same time, the NPP was also switching to adopt a more rugged demeanor. When I'm switching by, you know, I'm not giving you the specific in time, I'm just giving you the narration of what has happened up to today. The NDC has become such an attractive party, and you can tell from the results of the last election. They have taken over that cool demeanor, no? The leadership, the front line from the NPP. And as I was saying, I was hoping that when the delegates conference was coming, we're going to see an amazing shift for the NPP to also to go back to where they started from as the calm party and everything. But no, after such a massive, humiliating loss, they are even riding higher. We are the we. We won't tolerate nonsense. We are the we. We are the mighty. And folks, that is why I'm telling you, NPP, that is why you're losing ground. Because the nature of the Ghanaian is not any longer vested in this kind of radical giddy. People are like, now, even monies you have stolen from this country, let's retrieve the money. All that means is that some resetting, whether you like it or not, is taking place. And if I were you, I will support the resetting and help in the resetting. Because like I've said and I'll keep saying, any party now who does not adhere to resetting this nation cannot find anywhere to put their feet in this nation, because times have changed though. Things have changed, sides have changed. Can you imagine, just for 1 second though, can you imagine that under His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, the NPP had 2/3 majority? Even being the minority ponyo, can you imagine the NPP has 2/3 majority? What would have happened? I leave that to your imagination. Now, I want you to follow me with something. Remember what happened at Ayawaso, the election, when thugs came in under the guise of your national security and were messing about, destroying things, slapping MPs and doing everything in Ayawaso. Do you remember? Do you remember? And then we found out that these were NPP thugs. You want to say Rosna Reversi? Before, they would have said NDC for Nesa. And it was true that the radical ones and the violent ones were those who were coming from the JJ heritage. But look at how that switched. Look at what happened at Techiman South. 8 people killed. And this is all under the watch of those who before were attractive as the learned, gentle people who knew and understood the law. But this is what happened. And here's the funny thing. When Ayawaso happened, did you see then the NDC in minority in parliament boycotting it? Say, I'm sorry, because Ayawaso happened. Did you see that? When Techiman happened, did you see the NDC getting up and say, we are boycotting it? I want you to follow me to understand that the roles were switching. The roles were switching. All of a sudden, the one that was calm, and we had the men, and that were the gentlemen of the day, were becoming the radicals and the veranda boys. And those who have the personality, those who had the tag of being veranda boys, were coming across as more gentle and more quiet. So I also happened, not a whimper from the NDC. 8 people were shot in Techiman, not a whimper. Reverse that to what has happened at Ablikuma. and see, has NPP said, oh, it was just an election thing and be quiet? No, they haven't. They are up in arms. They got out from parliament and left parliament because they are not going to be a part of that quote-unquote silly media review. You know, we have more important things to do. And what did they do? They marched to Jubilee House to present a petition. Surprisingly, I think the petition was received by Julius Debra and Stan Dobe. They gave the NPP the respect and the courtesy to at least meet them. Let us reverse that and see when, at one point, when NDC, when they were in a minority, and said they were going to the Electoral Commission to present a petition. That petition didn't even go anywhere. NPP wouldn't allow it. They were stopped. And that was not even going to the president too. They were just going to the Electoral Commission. Even there, they were stopped. Do you see how the roles have reversed? Before you would have thought that it is under an NDC quote-unquote hooliganism that these things will be stopped. But no, it has reversed. So the NDC was stopped. Even the Electoral Commission, on your president, but they wouldn't even allow them to go through. So folks, this is my point here. And I'm doing this show to tell Ghanaians, because me a national person, that we should all start thinking of what we need as a nation, not as a party. As a nation, we need peace. We need justice. And whatever we need to do to get there, we have to, intelligently. But when you apply all kinds of brute force and emotional things, it does not work. And today, let us start rethinking towards building this nation. Akwatia, you know, not just the ridiculous reverend who's talking about bloodshed. This is where I want to see the IGP having a press conference backed by whatever force that he has, that we want peace in Ghana. We are going to make sure that we are the peace officers. We will make sure that there is peace in Ghana. And if you try, you will see. And let the law deal with hooligans. IGP, I'm giving you a missed call too. Say something or say something. Don't sit down and watch till the time we get to Akwatia, and then whoever ridiculous people from whichever party can come and create a scenario for violence and bloodshed. You should right now be giving press conference, say, we'll make sure say that never happens in Ghana. And even if it's the army that will come and assist the police to make sure that that never happens in Ghana, and anyone who tries that should be dealt with by the law severely, so that foolish people can stop using their platforms to call for bloodshed, whether you're a reverend or whether you're a sycophantic jandam journalist. Tell me, microphone, I'm going to call for violence. Who born dog? Who the hell do you guys think you are?
Abusian ti we ensema Reverend Rev Fordjour edekoto dwa ama KSM so abe responde saa so na wode message edema NPP for shawadwen e comment section na say Reverend Fordjour asema o kan ye a ono akasa so kiremu a on kan ye na even media man na on interview no so no obisa ne say o hwa me kan saa so say da bi mami hu adwen kire e comment section na say aha Fresh Studios Mestro say unya subscribe ya bomodian subscribe na fama me as birthday gift as said me birthday ever na ebusia no yentumi nyine nye kese na afi so mesra wa ye Facebook page no followers ni so mon follow your Facebook Fredi no o search Fresh Studios our Facebook a ubehu ye logo no eda ho fefefe yellow and black na mon follow your ho TikTok nso mon follow your X Instagram edina Fresh Studios ebusia makram